hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip
Bars is back.
hip hop,
Sam
hip
and
hop,
oh God,
hop,
what's
hip
up with you?
hop.
I done watched them niggas do interview after interview. They not culture vultures, the culture something they been into. So if you never gave them a view, I recommend you do. Cause when they question guests, they message is not subliminal. It don't matter if you a rookie or at your pinnacle. They gon' touch on stuff that you did and what you finna do. It's uncensored too. Yo, they never had a goofy show, but I saw some boys on they show acting goofy though. Well, if you think they L stupid though, you would get exposed like the hoes on OnlyFans letting coochie show. To introduce the show, when I sent this to Sam, asked, oh God, that nigga said, oh God, you the man, Cass. I spit white like a clan mask, and I'm a hustler. I could stand out on the beach and sell sandbags. Some things can't last, but this ain't just a podcast. This is Sam Ant and oh God, Cass. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Oh God, driving Sam and riding passenger side, and you heard it out the mouth of the greatest rapper alive. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Oh God, driving Sam and riding passenger side, and you heard it out the mouth of the greatest rapper alive. Go gang.
Welcome to another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. I'm your brother, O God from Hip Hop News Uncensored, and sitting across from me is my co-host.
What up, y'all? It's your man Sam Ant, CEO of Viral Hip Hop News, here in the building for a very special edition of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. Today on the podcast, we got the lovely Angel Massey,
Yes,
mother of former Disney star Kyle Massey. How you doing today, Miss Massey?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing today? He too.
Indeed, blessed, man. Definitely appreciate you coming on this afternoon, blessing us with some of your time. So we're on the show today to talk to Miss Angel Massey, and you have a very, very interesting story being a mother of a Disney star. So let's start there. First off, introduce yourself to the people and let them know what they should know about you.
I am Angel Massey. I am the mother of my two sons, Kyle Massey. You know him best from That's So Raven, Cory in the House, season 11, Dancing with the Stars, with Brandy and Rick Fox. That was our season. And you know us from Celebrity Family Feud, and my son Christopher Massey from Zoe 101. And actually, my sons made history, television history, being the first and only siblings and African American siblings to be nominated in the same category for an Emmy award. Most people don't know that. So yeah, they were two African American males that were nominated at the same time in the same category for an Emmy award for their outstanding television for children's programming on That's So Raven and Zoe 101.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So talk about being the mother, Disney childhood stars. I mean, did you see something early on? Just talk about your whole experience, just raising two child stars.
Raising them was the best part for me. Raising them was the fact that I got to see them. I got to be around them every day. So because they didn't go to a traditional school. So I was literally on top of them I got to spend a ton of time with them because they were on television. So that was my most favorite part about it. And then we got to travel the world. Just television just takes you on a journey, not just through the script, but physically it takes us on a journey that, that's just amazing. And my most important lesson to them was to remain good people and display high character. And so what's so cool about it was even when Kyle was on That's So Raven, and even when he got his own television show on Cory in the House, I never allowed them to treat him like the star. He had to pick up his own clothes. He had to go get his own food. He had to, yes, ma'am, and no, sir, because what happens sometimes in television, the children the circle of life gets a little distorted. And what do I mean by that? Children become the boss of adults. So
Mm,
you have a child star, everybody that works on that production, basically that child is their boss. So you have a tendency sometimes, if you're not careful, that's when I think, in my opinion, sometimes when the children kind of get a little bit off course
mhm.
because they've been given that power and authority over adults. And I don't think that that's right. And I never allowed my kids to do that.
It's so interesting not to have not only one but two sons that went into the field of acting, the career of acting at a very young age. And it's not till you just said it. I swear to goodness that my kids watch both the shows, Zoe 101 and That's So Raven, and I'm just realizing now that they were brothers. That's
Yes,
insane.
and you know what? Let me tell you a really fun factual story about two things: character and discipline. Well, when Christopher auditioned for Zoe 101, he auditioned for not even a guest starring role. He just auditioned for a part. He had two lines at the very end of the show when the credits was coming up,
Mm,
and that was his only line. And he was a basketball player, so he was in the scenes a lot, but he only had two lines at the very end of the show. But because he got along with everybody on the set, including Jamie Lynn and Miss Lynn, and our family, the Spears family, and our family just got along so well, they didn't even realize that they had not cast a black kid or black person on the show, because that Zoe 101 was going to be an all white show.
mm.
And when Christopher was getting along with everybody, they they realized, hey, we need a black kid, a black person on this show. And because of that, that's how Christopher got his series regular. He was hired for one episode, two lines, but because of his character and his discipline, that's the reason why he was able to have that show for five seasons, and the rest is history.
Awesome.
Now I don't know. Are you their managers or something like that, or
Yes, I've always,
okay.
pretty much I'm their mom, but
Right?
obviously, yeah, but they, in show business, they call it a momager. So that's what they've labeled me as. But, I take more pride in being their mom, because a mom, it's kind of like, even with Venus and Serena Williams' dad. I mean, he's their dad, but he
Right.
invested in his kids. So so yeah, I oversee and help them with their lines, and direct them, and
Mhm.
do the PR, and and stuff like that. Help facilitate it. I'm not the head PR person, but
Right.
I help oversee everything because they have a job to do, and then I do everything else.
Great.
We know that Hollywood could be a very ruthless place, in particular for children in the field of Hollywood, because they're accepted to a lot of adult things.
That's
From your
right.
perspective, being the mom and being the manager of two young actors, how was your perspective of Hollywood, and how did it treat your young boys and yourself throughout your journey?
You know what? That's a really great question, actually. So I'll answer it for in perspective of myself, because I'm pretty much a easy breezy kind of person. I because I had Christopher when I got pregnant with Christopher when I was 19 years old,
Mm,
and I had their dad. I started dating him when I was 16. So I never really was a club person. I never hung out. I go to bed early. I'm more of a morning person. You want to get something, I'm the person that will pick you up from the airport at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. I'm
Right.
that shift. 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, I start to get a little whiny, a little itchy, and a little sleepy and cranky, and I'm no fun after 9 o'clock, pretty much. So for me in show business, it worked perfectly for my personality, because I'm not a party, drinking, smoking, drug person. And for my children, we had such a balance with my mom. When my mom got sick, she got sick the second season of That's So Raven. So my boys were still young enough for me to use my mom's illness to be able to show them not to allow the highs to get too high and the lows to get too low, because it can all be taken away from you at any time. So I think that, God just kind of gave us that balance, that I can't take all the credit for it, but I'm just saying, I just think that we just had balances that we were familiar with. And I played a big part in it only because I just wasn't that character of a person anyway. So partying and drinking and all that stuff really didn't move me. So I didn't really get sidetracked with it myself. And because I was the leader over them, I think it just worked brilliantly for our individual family. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Absolutely.
man. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting dynamic. And then when Christopher and Cal started to get older, and they did, they were young men, and they did have fun, and they did things that I probably did not agree with, or didn't prefer, or didn't like. But because I was consistent, and I had a village of people that could intercept some of the direction that they were going in, or kind of put a yield or a stop sign in front of them, until they just got tired of being derailed, and then they grew out of it, because I wasn't never afraid to ask for help.
Hmm.
So, and I think sometimes, in black well, my when I was married, my father-in-law used to always say, black kids, especially the black boys, sometimes you have to hold their hand until you know that they're ready for you to let it go. If that makes sense. I know it sounds kind of weird when you're dealing with adults, but my father-in-law used to always say, you have to hold sometimes those black boys, you have to hold on to them a little bit longer, because they will self-destruct if they don't have direction and guidance, and they really do need more discipline and guidance when they turn 18 than they did when they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to be one of those women that, when I would hear a man say women can't raise boys and a woman can't raise a man, I used to take offense to that until my kids got grown. And now I see what they mean when a man says that, because technically I think that he is 1000% correct,
Mhm.
because we do a fantastic job, in my opinion, with our boys when they're under 18. When they turn 18, they do need male mentors. They need their dad. They need someone to guide them into manhood. We do a
Right.
fantastic job of raising them up to passing the torch over. But at a certain age, they do need male mentors and male figures outside of their moms. That's my opinion. And that's based on my experiences with my sons when they got of age, where I had to ask for help from men, from my male friends and their dad and their granddad and all of my male friends and colleagues and peers. I'm like, look, I need some help, because this is not working right now, and they're not listening to me because of blah 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 and blah.
Mhm.
So that's why when I say I can't take the credit for everything, because I have a fantastic village, and I admit when I am, at a disadvantage, and I know where my shortcomings and my flaws are, and they showed up sometimes when my kids were going through that age of 22, 21 to like 26. It was a long time
Yeah.
that I needed some help.
Yes,
Appreciate that.
definitely. You mentioned That's So Raven earlier. If you can tell us your experience working with Raven Symone. We had her on, had be about 2 years now.
Yeah.
Seemed
Okay.
like she was able to pretty much stay grounded, being as though she was, a young star as well. So talk about your experience, if you can, and your son working with Raven Symone.
Okay, so I'll tell you. So Raven was fantastic for Kyle,
Yeah.
because she was the standard for black kids in Hollywood. I mean, there was not another successful black kid when we entered into the business in California in 2000. Raven was the standard. And so her dad and her mom, well, mainly her dad, basically mentored me. So that's how I learned how to be a stage parent. That's what you got, maybe what we're referred to, a
Mhm.
stage parent, a Hollywood parent, a star parent, because Kyle was the number two person on That's So Raven. And then when he got his own show, so basically Raven, she was really good for Kyle, and he could not have had a better mentor and somebody that he was interning underneath every single day to learn how to be a child actor, because she was the standard. I mean, you can't find another black person, male or female, that was Raven. And I thank her dad for it all the time. I give him praise for it all the time. And so that's where we got our business savvy and our character on set. Just our etiquette, our set etiquette. We got it all from Raven's family. They were the standard.
Now we see success stories like a Raven, Symone, and other child stars who are able to keep themselves grounded through absolute superstardom and keep a legitimate head on their shoulders throughout time and through adulthood. And then we also see, unfortunately, those who don't. And one of those people who struggled was another castmate of Kyle's, and that was Orlando Brown, excuse me. Incredible actor. I was sitting there watching him on Major Pain a couple days ago, sitting there like,
Right.
Damn, I remember Ty going there. Talk about just, maybe not in particular Orlando Brown, but you can talk about your experiences with him if you may, and then just talk about how maybe the industry kind of consumes our youth and consumes some of our young to where they grow up way too fast, and then we see them act out like we see Orlando doing on social media and things like that.
Okay, and you know something? I will. And personally, Orlando is like my other son. Like I absolutely love and adore Orlando Brown. And it's interesting because Orlando also was another standard. He was a standard in black television as well, like Major Pain. It's interesting because when Kyle and Christopher would go on their auditions, I would play the scene for them while we were driving. Like we had a family that was from Texas, and she had they had the TVs in their truck, and she had daughters and I had the boys, and she would always play videos in her car, and I used to always have her to play Major Pain whenever Christopher and Kyle was going on an audition or was going to Chris Kyer's little acting classes, stuff like that. We would always play the one scene when he's in the field with Damon Wayans, and he's doing his little dance and he screams. And so that was basically, Orlando was basically their acting coach, because he was a phenomenal kid, a phenomenal talent. And what happens sometimes is money and power will make you not pay attention to obedience and respect, because kids, they know that they're the power. They know that they are the entity. So if you don't have a balance, it's everything in life, no matter who you are or where you're from. If you don't have a balance, when everybody's catering to you and you don't have that person to wheel you back in, sometimes, and then when the boys, like I said, when they get of certain age and they get to be bigger than their mom and they're bigger than their dad and they're making more money than their parents, sometimes it's not the industry that does anything to them. It's their own mindset how they embrace the power that they know that they have, that's bestowed upon them. And that's more of the problem than the industry, because you look at Candy Burris. She started out as a kid. You look at Celine Dion. She started out as a kid. You look at Venus and Serena Williams. They started out as kids. But the difference is sometimes the people that's on the other side of that, what am I trying to say? The what you call it? The tug of war. You got some people like Venus and Serena's dad. He wasn't allowing his kids to pull too far over center. Like I wasn't allowing my kids to pull me over too far past center. So it's not necessarily an industry thing. And I kind of don't like when people just blame everything on the industry, because everything is not on the industry. Some of us have to take responsibility too. And then we don't want to say, sometimes in the industry, you don't want to tell celebrities no, because you know that they employ you. You understand? And so it's a double-edged sword. So what I did is I just never allowed my kids to forget that I was the mom. And I'm never going to allow them to forget. I don't care how old I get and how old they get. I'm still their mom. We're gonna get a year older together at the same time, but I'm still their mom. And I'm not giving my rights, title, and interest up to nobody for nothing. So that's just how I choose to do it. And that's just my perspective. Because Orlando is like a fax machine. Like that boy he never carried a script on set. He when the script was given to us, he would read the script at table read and he never went back to it. He's an amazing, brilliant mind.
Wow.
And yeah, and I I have pulled his coattail a couple of times. He's been to my house. I've gotten on to him like I do my own children. And when I call him, if he answers the telephone, I treat him just like I do Christopher and Kyle. And I'm so proud of him that he finally grew out of whatever it was that he was kicking and screaming about. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's my take on Orlando Brown.
Appreciate that.
So I'm sure you've seen a lot of major obstacles over your time. Being a manager, mother for your son. Now you guys are dealing with a real huge one with this alleged, sending the pictures to the 13-year-old girl. Can you kind of get into that, what you can, for our audience? And talk
I like
about
it.
that?
Wait, say it again one time, because you were like so reluctant to say that. You just did not even want that to come out of your mouth. I like it. Wait,
like, damn.
Wait, say it one more time. I promise you I'm going to answer it. Go ahead, ask me one more time.
Yeah, so how do you how you guys dealing with this these allegations that came out right now? It was all over the news, all
what
over the
allegation? I can't hear you. The allegation of what did we do?
Right. I know you got through your guys' lawyer, you said you're going to fight this thing all the way. So share what you can with our audience.
Oh, I can share anything. You can ask me whatever you want. So let me tell you this, right? So I did not even realize that this person had been in Kyle's life for a long time. And just to give you a scenario, because people have always asked me, well, not people haven't asked me, like the trolls on the internet. Well, then if you were you knew this all along. No, I didn't know anything. But we used to live, I'm not sure if people that know California, we used to live on a street called Vineland, and the intersection was Ventura. So Vineland and Ventura was our street, and there's a Ralph's, there's a Jamba Juice, and there is a Rite Aid that was right on the corner, and there was an apartment complex, which was our apartment complex, Archstone. And then there's a famous hotel. It's called the Beverly Garland Holiday Inn Hotel. It's a really famous hotel in California. It's one of the small boutique hotels, and it's on Vineland, the corner of Vineland and Ventura. The hotel was to the left. If you were going into the guard shack, the hotel was to the left. The apartment complex where we lived was in the middle. We were sandwiched in between the plaza. So obviously, when Kyle and Christopher was supposed to be going to Rite Aid or the Jamba Juice or the Ralph's, Kyle was going next door to the hotel, because that's where, when she would come to California, she would take him when he was younger, when he was under 18 years old. So it wasn't like it was something that was so obvious, that because he didn't drive, he didn't even get a driver's license before he was 18 years old. So he never drove anywhere without me or his dad. You know what I mean? And so it was weird, because we left California when he was 16, when he did Cory in the House. So when we finished with Cory in the House and we went back home, it was on his 16th. He had just turned 16 when we left California. So this was all underage. So that was how that scenario was able to play out, along with other times when we didn't live there. She's been to the set before. People have seen her on the set before of That's So Raven. So I don't know personally how long he's known her, but he does. He'll be able to, he knows more of that information than I do. But what's interesting about it was she started, her name is Kendra Andreas. She started extorting us February the 14th, 2019. So we got this demand extortion letter that was full of threats, and it included the Me Too movement. She said that she had the weight of the Me Too through her attorneys. that she had the weight of the Me Too movement behind her, and that if we did not comply with her $1.5 million demand letter, that she was going to ruin Kyle's relationships. She was going to ruin his business relationships, and she was going to get him registered on a sex registry offender list if we didn't comply with her. So I gave her and her attorneys, things that I can't say here on this interview, but I stood my ground from that day to this one. My story have not changed, not one bit. The facts, I drilled Kyle like a drill sergeant, and worse than any defense attorney could ever do. I asked him, I need to know every single solitary thing about this whole situation. And every single time I asked him, he never wavered on his answer. In fact, he remembered more and more information. And then 2019, she, because I told her attorneys that she had been sleeping with him. That's how he knew her. He sent the picture to her because that's how he knew her. That's something that they had done before. That wasn't his first time doing that. She's 7 years older than him. And that's how he knows her. That's how he knows this woman. So that when she wanted to come to California, Kyle had a girlfriend. He has a new girlfriend. And when Kyle told her he was going to charge her to come and stay there. See, that's a whole thing about the whole complaint. Kyle never said anything to the girl by herself. He never invited the girl by herself. The mama was coming with her. She was coming there.
Mm-hmm.
The mom and the girl was going to stay with Kyle. And when Kyle told the girl that she had to pay money, that's when she realized that she had lost her power over him, because he never would have done that if she still had power over him. So that's when he told her that's when she started extorting him out of the $1.5 million, because at that point she realized that it was no more her superior over him. And then when she extorted us, when she sent the extortion letter, and then Kyle finally told what the deal was, she stopped pursuing. I mean, when I say her attorneys, they quit the case because they knew that they didn't have a case in the first place.
Wow.
Her attorneys quit the case. So she was left without an attorney because they can't put her on this. People don't realize that if an attorney know that you're lying, they cannot put you under oath. They can't put you on the stand knowing that you're going to perjure yourself. They cannot do that as attorneys. They have an ethical obligation that they cannot do that as attorneys. She's a liar. She lied. She tried to extort us. And then when it didn't work, and I will share this with you. What I found out is that anytime you go to a mediation, even if it's in writing or if you set it up, that to the courts and that to the public says that you're trying to hide something. So we never went to mediation with these people. We never talked settlements. We didn't do anything. I told them the way it was going to be from day one, and my story haven't changed. And then here we are 3 years later, the same accusation from the same person, now with more corruption and more lies, because she was lying from the beginning. She has more than one. Kyle has we have 6-7 phone numbers for her over the years of her being in touch with Kyle. Seattle phone numbers on our phone bill. Thank God the phones were in my name. Yeah. So I myself was able to pull her phone numbers from our phone records. So yeah. But nobody has talked to us. Nobody has asked us any questions. It's just that when these stories go, haywire, it's the only version that you have to go by is the version that the person tells first.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And so she's lying. She is lying. The girl, Kendra Andreas, is lying. The little girl has videos with her mom talking about DICKs and limp DICKs and all of that with her mom. Like they're not the most ethical. The mama is not an ethical person. She's been arrested several times. She's filed bankruptcy twice in 6 years. She was a stripper that she admitted to her stripper friends, bragging to her stripper friends. She used to work at this place called Deja Vu Strip Club in Seattle, Washington. She used to brag to her stripper friends how she was screwing Kyle on Disney Channel. She's gonna get that Disney money. Yeah, some of her stripper friends.
Wow.
Send it to me on Instagram in direct message. Yes, it's crazy. Like all of that stuff. And then, and then you go by and you look at these people and it's like, you girl, like everybody's not afraid of lies. You don't have anything to be afraid of when you're not when you're not a liar. When you tell them the truth is going to be the same no matter how many times you tell it. The girl is garbage. She's garbage. And then the guy, that the police officer over there, the sheriff, his name is Dan Arvidson. He says that he arrested Kyle on September the 24th, 2020. He did not. Kyle was in California filming the Millennials. There's a timestamp. He was filming the Millennials on the same date and time that the man said he arrested Kyle. Kyle has never been to Seattle. He's never been arrested before. Still to this day, he's never been arrested. He's never been fingerprinted. He's never taken a mugshot. They lying. And so she has to know the guy. The district attorney over there, the prosecutor, Dan Satterberg, he's been under investigation for nepotism. So he's had that position for years, and now he's all of a sudden not running for re-election. It's corruption everywhere. It's like those people, and I don't really care about nobody else's hustle. I don't care. I don't really care about it. But what I do care about is when you know that you've done something wrong and you know that you are a liar, just admit it and go on past it. Don't keep on dragging us in this system, in this web of lies when y'all know y'all corrupt. Dan Arvidson lied. He lied. He manufactured an arrest that did not happen. The prosecutor over there has been under investigation for nepotism, and he cut a deal to keep him to save his own ass, and then he didn't run for re-election. And it's like, but what about all the destruction that these people leave behind when they tell lies on people, and they just think that just because you're a black person or you're a black male, you don't have a support system or you don't have any money? That I don't think the justice system should be set up based on whether you got some money or not.
Right.
That police officer is corrupt as hockey sticks. He's lying. He's lying. He is lying. I turned him into the police accountability department, turned him into the sheriff, the Brady list. Like, he a liar. He's a liar. And you know why I can confidently say that? Because my son has not done anything wrong. He never did anything wrong in 2019 when the judge dismissed the case. We didn't talk. It wasn't because it was dropped. It wasn't because we talked to settlement. It wasn't because we went to mediation. The judge dismissed the case.
So
that's the reason why. And then she goes, and the reason that there are court dates that were quote unquote missed court dates was because that police officer created a crime that took place in Seattle, which never happened. And so that crime that was committed in Seattle is what generated court dates.
Right.
It was all based on his lie, based on what she told him. And then what was so fascinating about it was Dan Abrams, the featured legal analyst from Good Morning America, that's always on Good Morning America, the Dan Abrams guy. Mm-hmm. He did an article on Kyle's case in real time. It just got overshadowed by a lot of the blogs, but he did a brilliant piece on Kyle's case talking about how the Kendra Andreas girl lied on her statement to the detectives, how the detective lied on his affidavit to the district attorney, and then now we this spiraled out of control based on two liars. They have to know each other, because there would be it wouldn't make any sense as to why the sheriff, the detective, would go out on a limb like that unless he know the girl, because it was stupid. If you look back at the documents that were filed in real time that made it on national news, the documents clearly say that the girl said that her attorneys didn't file the case against Kyle in California, that her attorneys asked her to file don't go to the police, and that her attorneys did not file the case in California. Well, we all know that's a lie, because Kyle was on the news in 2019 for the case being filed. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? But because we don't pay attention to it, because in the beginning, everybody thought, they assumed that it was a different girl, or that it was his consequences had finally caught up to him from 2019. And neither one of those are true. She basically lied to the detectives to try to get what she wanted, because I gave her 2 middle fingers greased up pretty nicely. And I told her to go F herself. I'm not giving you shit. That's what I'm giving you, nothing. I'm not about to keep going back and forth with you. We ain't giving you no money. We're not giving you nothing. We ain't giving you no emails. We're not giving you nothing. You go back where you came from. And then you will that's how we're gonna do this. And then I told her we'll see you in court. And then when we didn't see her in court, then now we back over and she still haven't seen us in court. Because he hasn't done anything wrong. Kyle has not done anything wrong. And it's so sad how many people, especially black men, I just feel so bad, because look at Chris Brown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Brown is a perfect example. Okay, so, people may have their opinions about him, and whatever they are, from things that he's done before or not, right? But the justice system says once you get finished with whatever your punishment would have been or whatever, that's done, right? So now when this girl comes now in real time and says that he raped her on the puppy's boat or whatever, she was basically setting the stage for her to sue everybody, right? Now, when he gets to tell his own story and he pulls out his phone, the girl is begging him for sex and asking him to come over, but it was after she slandered his name.
Right.
So why not do this? So my whole advocacy is this. Why not, from the front side of these accusations, why not keep everybody Jane Doe and John Doe until after the full investigation, until after a jury has decided, or until after all the evidence is presented, after what they call discovery. And then if you want to put somebody's name out there, then maybe. But just because I go, what's your name in the red shirt?
Sam.
If I go down there to the police station and say, Sam touched me on my ass. I was doing an interview with him in the studio and he touched me on my ass and on my breast. That's all I need to get you hemmed up. That should be illegal. The bar should not be that low for me to be able to say, Sam touched me on my ass and groped my breast, because at the time I was doing an interview with him. But the bar is just that low in order for me to hem you up, and it's a lie. That should be a crime. That should be a felony. That should be a crime. Because think about it. If I steal your car, or if I damage your computer, your Apple computer right there, that computer is more than $500. That's a felony.
Yeah.
If I damage your computer for that's worth over $500, that's a felony. So why is it that it shouldn't be a felony when these women are accusing you of something, you losing more than $500 on your job? If that should be a felony, because they're lying. And what I'm saying is, it's one of those things where it could be an easy fix if somebody wanted to fix it.
Right.
Because it's too many people. Brian Banks, they weren't rich. They weren't celebrities. Marcus Dixon, they weren't rich. They weren't celebrities. They weren't in the NFL. They didn't have a NBA logo on them or NFL logo. They were two little black high school students that got falsely accused by 2 high school little girls. And then later find out that they were innocent. But why did they have to go to jail for something that they didn't do? Because nobody thought enough to look into their version of what happened. They only went by the girl. That should not be allowed.
We appreciate you sharing that. That's powerful beyond words to hear that from a woman with 2 sons.
Yes.
To say that, because obviously we know there's a lot of dirty people in this world and people do wrong, both male and female, but we never get that side to protect the males who are done wrong, not the ones who are doing wrong, done wrong.
And let me tell you this. Do you know that there is a book? Because that's all I do every day. I research trying to save my kid. I'm just saving him, educating everybody and him too. And it's a lot of work. It's not an easy job. I'm telling you. There's a book that I came across the other day. It's called DAMN, DAMN, How to Destroy a Man Now. It's a lady that wrote a step-by-step book on how to successfully falsely accuse a successful man and get him removed from power. It's written down in a book. You can't find a black girl on earth that could be able to get away with that. And it's teaching a person how to commit a crime.
Yeah.
That should be illegal. I mean, it's a simple fix. Like and what's so fascinating about the darn book is 42% of the people that read it, which I'm going to go out on a very strong, firm limb and say it was women. Right. 42% of the women that read it liked it, gave it 5 stars. 50% of the women didn't like it and gave it 1 star, right? Okay, so that means that there is a need for change, because even though that it's only 8% gap in the people that did the rating, the 42 from 50, but that's a small margin, because that means that those women that are like that, they're sprinkled everywhere. They're all over the place. Mm-hmm. They're all over the place. And that should be illegal. That should be a felony. That should be, when you actually deliberately are going around telling lies on a man, and you know that he hasn't done anything illegal to you, and you're costing him more than $500, that should just it's an easy legislative piece of legislation to fix it. Because if they don't have any consequences, what's going to stop them from doing it? If you speed, you're going to get a speeding ticket. Mm-hmm. Depending on how fast you go, depends on how much you pay. Yep. Right? Yes. You rob a bank with a gun, it's armed robbery. If you don't have a gun, the consequences are it's simple fixes to all of this. It's just that whoever wants to fix it need to fix it, because it's bullshit. Basically, it's freaking bullshit, and it should be a crime. It should be my Kyle has never even gotten a moving violation from a police officer before in his life. He's a good kid. He's a good person. And I'm not just saying that because he's mine. I'm saying that because it's the truth. Right. Like, I can confidently say that you will not find not a wardrobe person, not an extra, not a castmate, craft service, a fan. You're not going to find anybody to tell you anything negative about Kyle. I'm saying, like, in a negative character kind of way. Yes, he's not a perfect person. He's done stuff probably that I don't know or don't approve of, or, you know what I mean? Something like that. Smoke some weed or something like that because it's in California, but that's not my preference. But I'm just saying, but as far as his character, doing something illegal or immoral or disrespectful to somebody, that's not Kyle. Kyle is not that person. He's never been that person. He's never been that person. And this person that's accusing him got a garbage track record. Garbage. The girl got 2 open cases right now in King County, where 2 financial lending institutions are suing her right now. Wow. Right now in King County. It's not even like it's somewhere else. She also has 4 cases all over 4 or 6 cases, I can't even remember, all over the state of Washington, where she's the defendant, where somebody else is suing her. She's garbage. Her character is garbage. And it's public record. You just got to know where to go look for it. Yeah. But when you're filing Jane Doe, when you have the liberty and the leisure and the luxury of filing Jane Doe, then you get to extort people all over the place, and nobody can ever see you coming. Yeah. But because I gave her an identity, that's why people know who she is. People been direct messaging me about her. People that know her. People have been direct messaging me about her past. Like, I can't take the credit for all this by myself. I would be completely irresponsible if I said I. But it's people that, when I gave her an identity, the information is there. Her name is Kendra Andreas. Mm-hmm. And because in California now it's a penal code 1120. If you Google it right now, you can see it. Like, even if you just go to whichever one of you go to your thing, 1120 is a penal code that says that there is no more confidentiality in sexual allegations or sexual misconduct or any of that stuff. There is no more confidentiality. So, which means that whether you go to trial or not, there or settle or whatever in a civil suit, there is no confidentiality. So okay, so I said, I put my thinking cap on. I said, okay, well, wait a minute. If there is no, because her attorneys were writing us like, well, Kendra would get to talk about this freely with no restrictions, whether it goes to trial or not. So I said, well, wait a minute. If she can talk about it freely without no restrictions on whether they go to trial or not, then certainly I can. And if it went to trial, we were going to know her name. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like her name was not going to be able to remain anonymous.
Right.
So I used what they gave me back against them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I used what they thought that they were threatening me with or threatening my son with to get him to bite for the bait, to pay them some money. If he had given them people $100, Kyle would be in jail right now. If he had sent one email faking or trying to like he was trying to meet them halfway or trying to see what they were talking about, he would be in jail right now. Because it would have given the illusion that he was trying to cover something up.
Yeah.
But because I would not allow him to do that is the reason that we're on the other side of the bars being able to advocate for the system flaws and justice reform. It's crazy. Absolutely. They never served him. The court had prior knowledge that he did not get served. He did not. The court got the documents back on Thursday. It was recorded in the court on Thursday. And Monday, they proceeded to go on with court knowing that Kyle was never served. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's so unfair. And so now, I'm having to do damage control overtime because of a lie.
Right.
From somebody that's got a garbage character flaw.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It's garbage. She's garbage. Yeah. Her character track record is garbage, and it's public record. You just gotta know where to go look for it.
Right.
I'm glad you laid all this out. This is a much needed conversation, and a lot of times, like you said, the person that's the accuser remains anonymous. We don't know nothing about them. So I'm glad that you were able to put that information out there, because reading the articles, you will know none of this.
No,
none of it at all. Right.
And you know something, I'll share this with you as well. Like and it's like I said, it's not a black or white situation. It's a legislative situation because the bar is so low for me to just go and say, Sam groped me on my ass and groped my breast while I was doing an interview at the podcast. And it's a lie. But you know what? You got to go get an attorney to defend yourself, to say, no, I didn't. She wasn't even in the room.
Yeah.
You still gotta defend the lie, the accusation. You see what I'm saying? They still gotta bring, after they accuse you, they still gotta bring you in, and you still gotta say, she was on via, what is it? Zoom. She wasn't even in the studio. What is she talking about?
Right.
That's how easy it is to get the man hemmed up right now with no consequences applied to their lying.
Right.
The lady that, I'm not sure if you all remember the lady that accused Joe Biden when he was running for office. Do you remember that lady? Okay. You said, who said yes or no?
Yes, we do. We remember.
Okay. So I'll tell you a fun fact about her. When she accused him, she had changed her name legally. Okay. She had changed her whole name by the time she got to Joe Biden. She had a history of falsely accusing she had a history of accusing somebody before him. Okay. She accused him, got away with it, moved, and changed her name when she came after him.
Wow.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you go back and Google the story, get her name, pull her name up, and you'll find all kinds of garbage about her. She was lying. She basically was, I'm just saying, my thing is, this is what I posed. That needs to, I don't know how it could, but to me, it seems like a really easy, simple fix, right? So I go down to the police station and say, you know what? Sam groped me on my behind and my breast when I was doing the interview. So the police, I say it needs to be a questionnaire that accompanies that complaint, right?
Mhm.
So in that questionnaire, do you know Sam? Yes or no? And I say, yes. How long have you known Sam? Well, 4 years. Okay. Have you ever slept with Sam? Well, yeah. When was the last time you slept with him? Well, like 2 weeks ago. Okay. So do you have any motives that will make you say this about him? Well, no. Okay. Have you ever have you ever been sexually harassed before? Yes or no? Well, yeah. So when? Well, one time in Tennessee. Okay. Have you ever filed Jane Doe before? Well, yeah. Well, when? Well, one time in North Carolina. Okay. Well, so now that questionnaire becomes an affidavit.
Yeah.
So now that questionnaire, the detective that's taking the complaint from Angel saying, you know what, Sam groped me on my ass and touched my breast when I was doing the interview. Now that questionnaire is going to be able to give him a little bit more subconscious peripheral view of the situation. Okay, well, wait a minute. Now she done slept with him before 3 weeks ago. Okay, so now you know what? Somebody have sexually harassed you before. Okay, so now they kind of pumping their brakes a little bit on Sam. Might not be such a big, maybe just maybe Sam may not have done this.
Right.
Let us call Sam in and get his version of what happened. So now she signed her affidavit with what all I just said, right? She signed her questionnaire. She filled out her questionnaire. That questionnaire now becomes a part of her case. So if it goes to the grand jury, if it goes to the DA, if it goes to the prosecutor, if it goes to jury, her case, that affidavit, that questionnaire that she originally swore to, it follows the case because now it gives them some type of profile on Sam, right? Now, Sam comes in and says, it's okay, Sam. So Miss Massey came in and said, you groped her. I wasn't even in the studio with her. My buddy right here, she can tell you, I don't even know that lady. I was on Zoom with her. Yeah, I did the Zoom interview. Yeah, I screwed her like 3 weeks ago, but my girlfriend came and rung the doorbell and she got mad and she left. Oh, okay. So this is revenge. You see what I'm saying? Now you got two versions of the story, and now it's left up to the detective to see who's the criminal and who's not.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Based on that questionnaire, you get to go home instead of going to jail.
Right.
Or get to be on a sex registry list for something that you didn't do because she's mad because me and you was doing y'all was doing it and I came and rung the doorbell and now she got mad or whatever. And now she wants to go to the police station and say that you did something to her that you don't have no business doing.
Because that's that easy and it's that scary for.
Yeah, but if they had something in place, because now if she has to give an alibi about her background, then she'll be a little bit more reluctant about going in to tell a lie. Because if everywhere you go, you getting raped, and everywhere you go, on every job you've been on, you getting sexually assaulted, and everybody talking about, girl, bye, go sit down somewhere. You a liar, you're an extortionist, get you a damn job. Instead of trying to take somebody else's dang on livelihood away from them because you trying to come up on a fast come up. Like, no, that's not how the system, that's not the justice system. That's not the justice system.
Right.
Well, definitely keep continuing to fight. Definitely more people like you are needed. Yes. And your son's got a good manager and a great mom, even a better mom over there. So anything you want to say now? The floor is open. The floor's open for you to finish off.
Well, I mean, no, I just say thank you for having me. And my HHU shirts, I just think that, men sometimes get they get short chains and get the short end of the stick. And the woman just gets the benefit of the doubt all the time in an accusation. And that's not due process of the law. I mean, all I'm saying is just be fair. Look into both sides. Like, you got a person that never, like the little boy, the guy from University of Georgia that broke my heart in a million pieces. That girl has two conflicting stories already. She told one story to somebody, that one authority, and another story to another authority. That kid had they said he had over 100 character witnesses. football coaches, teachers from when he was in middle school, high school, college. None of it counted. It all went down to one person's account of him doing something that she said he did wrong. Where's the justice in that?
There's none.
There is none. And then 2 years from now, when she come back and say, oh, yeah, my bad. The Kobe girl, the Kobe Bryant girl was lying. She had slept with 3 people that night. Like none of that came out in the beginning. But if you go Google Kobe Bryant's story and Google that girl, you're going to come up, you're going to find all kinds of garbage about her. She wanted to be an actress. She's tried out for American Idol. Like it's garbage. Like the system is flawed. Like it's garbage. It's garbage right now. And it's not fair for the man at all. It's not fair for the man at all.
Like my because said, we definitely appreciate your candid and just your transparency in breaking down the situation. You look in circulars and it doesn't paint your son the way he needs to be portrayed, and we appreciate it. And once everything is settled, and once all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, and we can have the ability to have him on, we can't wait to have you back on to not only celebrate your victory, but also get more in depth on how he was feeling throughout the whole ordeal, how it made you feel. We can't wait to dig deeper, but we appreciate your time, Miss Angel Massey, on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. Anywhere would you like people to follow you, or social media handle, anything like that? I don't know if you want to share that, but
yeah, you can. They can follow me on Boy Oh Boy Family on Instagram. And Sam did not grope me, and Sam did
said it
not
about
touch
700
me.
times.
That's a
thinking
lie.
I did it for real and
so
shit.
Nobody go back and say that, because that is not true.
Thank you very much, Miss Angel.
Sam is a great guy, and y'all better leave Sam alone. Don't even think about it, because he's gonna have to deal with me. He
please
too.
Don't. Thank you very
much.
Miss Angel.
They better not. You call me, I'll put on the internet for you.
I appreciate you. Thank you
That's
so much.
So funny.
Well,
I appreciate you guys, and he too, and yeah, and we I'm just hoping to be able to use my platform to be able to help, just at least consider it. Somebody, a legislator, consider it. Just because a simple questionnaire that follows the whole original complaint from the beginning. And in that way, it kind of gives a little bit of insight on the other person. If you just slept with the person 2 days ago, you've been dating them for 7 years. Sounds like, okay, he just got tired of you and he moved on and now you're mad. That's what it sounds like to me. If I was a detective, I would be scratching my head a little bit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Definitely. Thank you. Powerful interview. Thank you very much once again.
So, yeah. So how do I see it?
Well, what we could do is once